Hi React Native developers, my name is Kirill and today I'm going to implement the Hinge Paywall. I'm going to I'm going to show how to use React Native Reanimated to process all the animation things on that paywall. So yeah, let's have a look. The first things, let's show what we need to do. Here I have a Hinge app. So yeah, here we have on that paywall that page and animation for when you switch from Hinge Plus to Hinge X subscription. Also we have the ability to scroll inside these pages and the scroll positions persist when you scroll. And also, as you can see, there are smooth color switch on the titles from that primary color to white when you go from one type of subscription to another. So yeah, on the default subscription we have that primary pink color, and when we switch to the X we see that the color of the title and this switch indicator and the class icon switch to white. Okay, I will not fully implement the paywall. I'm not going to create all the UI stuff, all the UI components and styling. I think that it's not important here. It's more important to create that smooth transition from one page to another, to create that color switch effect, and the other stuff I think that you will create by your own. Okay, let's switch to the VS Code. Okay, here I have a basic app. I have configured it with the Expo. Okay, let's start with let me think. With creating that one, switching from one tab to another. For that purpose we will use flat list. Okay. Animated flat list. Let's unlock data. Let's call it plans. It's a plans for subscription. We will have plus plan and let's call it pro. Okay, data plans. And we will have render item. We need to render. So our flat list, it will be horizontal flat list that gives us ability to scroll from one subscription to another. It will be horizontal. Okay, and let's just render some view here. And for example, here we have item, style, background color, if item, for example, equal, let's make it as const. So here we have const, and TypeScript will help us is if let's call it basic pro. It's easier to understand basic. So I'll render white, if pro, black. Some text. probably let's increase the. Okay, this how to do. Okay, so we have here. So we see how our flat list now work. So the first things we need that our items into that flat list took the whole view of the window of our font. So we will be using const use Windows dimension. Yeah, that's called. And we will use here the width and our pages. We need to set exactly the width of the font. And here, as you can see, we have nice scroll, but we need to set here we need to remove bounces, false. Okay, so there is no bounces from the left and the right. And let's remove this indicator. Show horizontal indicator false. Okay, perfect. And we need to add page enabled to, yep. For now it's worked perfectly with it. Okay, what's the next? The next thing here is we need to add some I think that we will add the scroll inside these pages, these items, so it will be another one and another scroll. We can use another, let's create another company, constants will be like subscription plan. Okay, here we have plan. Okay, let's move from here to plan. It can be basic or pro. Basic pro, it will be pro. Plans. Okay, here. And pro. And here we can correctly type that props plan. Okay, and we will render. I think that we can render just scroll view. Let's use for gesture render. And let's render here our some text subscription plan. And let's add here that style. So we need that's width here. Item. Let's change to plan, subscription plan, and let's render it here. Used as otherwise the gesture will not be recognized. Okay, I got it. Let's switch to that one. So, okay, so now we have here the scroll view. So we have the horizontal flat list, and in every item of that flat list we have vertical scroll view. So it's now give us ability to scroll inside that subscription plans. Okay, the next thing that we need here is to create tab bar. Okay, const tab turn. Well, we cannot use here the header component, this header component, since because we have horizontal flat list, so the header component will be rendered on the top of that, on the start of the flat list, and the start of the flat list, since it's horizontal, will be here on the left. So we need to render the header component here. So let's render some view. Let's add some style here. Let's add here some height, for example 150 pixels, and background color red, for example, for start. Let's remove this one. Okay, and here we have a problem that our flat list doesn't. Let me show you. So in the Hinge, we see that the page scrolled, and also the background animated. The background also animated on the bottom of the tab bar. And but if we do that in that way, we hear that it scrolled only the page on the bottom, and we need to somehow manage the tab. Well, there's two options. As I see, is probably the make tab bar transparent, and to every item inside the flat list give it some more component with the height of that of the height of the tab bar height. So it's probably will work, I think. And we will scroll. No, when we will scroll, this will not work probably. Okay, let's go by a little bit another way. I have already tested another approach. The idea of this approach is that we will render a white parent in the tab bar, and then we will render a black parent, and that will take the whole the size of the parent, and we will handle the on scroll position, horizontal scroll position, and we will change the translate X property of that parent, of that black parent child, and move them according to the movements of the scroll. And into this way we will have the smooth background switching. So let's make this. So we will have a white parent, and inside that white parent we will have animated child. It's probably I don't need this one, and also this one. It should be absolute. Style shade absolute. Oh, what's the problem? Why it's not exist? Okay, so now it exists. Okay, so we have that our black child takes the whole height and width of the parent. Okay, now we need to listen this changing the scroll position of our horizontal flat list. How we will do it is we will create offset x variable as we will use the shared value from Native Reanimated, and also we will use how it's called use animated scroll handler, yeah. Const scroll handler, and we will use on scroll function, yep. So thank you, my autocomplete is will successfully, yeah. And we will pass it here. Let's log the value that's changed. On scroll, let's from here take it. On scroll x. Yeah. So here we have the position, the offset of our scroll. So here we have that we know that when we on the first page the offset is 0, and when we scroll we know the position of the switch, and we now can listen. We already listened it. We have the offset x, and we can switch and we can translate the black view according to this offset x shared variable. So okay, let's pass it to the child offset x bar. Let's take it here. It's not just a number, it's shared value number. Okay, and let's pass it here. Offset x. And now we should create animated style. Use animated style. Okay. And let's pass it here to our black view. So since on the start the offset is x, and when we move, so it's moved accordingly. And we need to know here the width of the view, and we need here probably at the start we need to like here, yeah. So on the start, on the first base plan, the translate of that header black child should be equal to the width of the screen. So it should be placed above on the right position of the screen. And when we scroll, it should accordingly scroll to the left. Well, probably here you see some problems on the screen, but it looks nice here. Okay, we have the tab bar, and now let's create titles. Let's create titles here. So here we should have we should have the icon X. Okay, let's create the wrapper for our. Let me think a little bit. Okay, let's create horizontal style, flex direction, row. Here we will render our two to text, to titles, Hinge Plus and Hinge X. Okay. The first things I think that we need to justify content, flex direction, flex end. Okay, let's add the border bottom, border bottom width, style sheet, hairline width, border bottom color, that's gray. I see that in Paywall the color of this button also changed when we probably changed, but well, let's look at in the end how it will look, and if it will be needed also add the animation for changing that color. But now let's focus on changing for the color of titles. So we have two titles here. Let's set some styles. 15%. Text align center. Let's add some padding. Padding vertical, for example 10. Okay. And we need to switch colors. Okay, as the first thing we need to do, we need to create animated. We need to switch to animated views, animated text. To apply animation to the components. The second thing we need to let's add another one variable called progress. This variable will change from 0 to 1. Because I think it will be easier to manage the color change, because as you can see in the Hinge, the color change applies when the center between the two subscriptions goes from the left side or right side of the screen. So for example, here we have the white, the Hinge Plus, and the white background. And when we scroll, and when the medium of the screens goes to the medium of the screen, the new colors applies. So another one. So we will see that on the left side the title purple, and when the medium goes through the center, the colors changed. So it will be easier for us to manage it when we will have another variable that will be, and we will know that into that position the progress is 0, and when we moved, and we fully moved, so the progress will be equal to 1. To make this, we will manage it here, and we need to divide by width, and we move out this width, so it moves it back. And let's add another log here. So here the progress is 0, and then when we move, the progress also moved. And for now we understand that we need, when our progress move from, for example, from the value that's less than 0.5 to value more than 0.5, we need to change the colors. We need to persist that we switch the colors, and when the value move back, we need also switch the colors. Sorry. Okay, let's move back. Так. Okay, so we need to we need to pass this value to the child component. Also, let's name it here, progress short value number. Okay. And here we need to manage, we need to understand which type of the subscription is now active. We will manage it by the progress X. Let me think a little bit. I think that we do not need progress. I think we can easily manage it by creating another variable called, for example, shared value could be also not shared value none. So I think that we can active plan, we can make it create this one, use shared value, and for now initial plan, let's call const initial plan. For now it will be basic active plan, and here what we are going to do, so I think we do not need progress here. Let's just have progress value inside const progress. Oh my god, progress, and if progress more than 0.5, you know that active plan is active plan value equal, and also active plan is basic. We can render here as active plan. Let's remove it here. Active plan dot value. Basic. When I switch, it switched to the pro. Still pro, and when you switch, it becomes basic. Also, the flat list also help us, because when the medium between the pages goes from the left or the right to the center of the screen, it automatically scrolls the page. Okay, so let's just pass that active plan short variable to the top. Let's let's switch it here. Shirt value, it will be plan. And here we will use, we will create animation variable title animated, but not style, title animated, and we will be using let me remember. Let's go to the docs. Reanimated. We need to use a function called interpolate colors, and we should use it. Yes, we should use it inside use animated style. Let's copy it. Replace interpolate color. And here we can, I think that we can use also not the numbers, but also, oh no, we should use it number, we should use number. But I think that we can replace number, our names on the number, because we just need, we do not need a step-by-step switch color from one to another. We can do it, but into the Hinge we only switch when the, as I saw, when the medium goes from all A's on left, all the A's on right. So here we can pass active plan. I think we can make it like equal plan basic 0 in other way 1, and we will change it if we in basic the color should be, for example, red one, and when we on the prop plan the color should be white, but not background color, it should be color text animation style. Text animated style, and we should pass it here, here, and here. A little bit another. We need smoothly change the colors, and I'm not correctly here, because I just want the basic text. In the basic, only the left title should be colored, and other one should be white. So let's manage it by creating two animated styles separately. Basic animated style pro style, and in the basic we switch from colored to white, and another one, when we have the basic, it should be some gray color, some gray, and then we switch, it moves to the white. Okay, color switch, but not animatedly. Let's make it. Let's make it animated, for example, with timing. It's what we need, I think. Bound. And probably we need to switch to the gray here. Yeah, it's what we need. Okay, I think it's cool here. And the next thing is, I think that we will add that indicator that displays on the bottom of the tab bar. Okay, the first things we need to know the width of this indicator. Okay, let's create it here. This will be our indicator, animated view. Okay, it will be animated. It should take on the height, for example, 2 pixels, I think. Background color for now, let's make it red. The height is 2. There's no for now animation. And the width is 50% of the parent. It should be placed on the bottom. Hey. Okay, guys, I don't know why it's not working as I wanted. I just put that view of indicator in the bottom of the tab. I assigned the width of the 50%, and now we will manage the moving that indicator from left to the right according to the position. It will be not something it will be something similar that we make for our background tab with that black view. Okay, for now what we need is to, I think, animated style. Let's create indicator, animated style, and here I think that we need just that one. And the indicator animated style is push it here. But we do not need to switch it so hard. We need to switch it on the. We need to handle only the half of the screen width. Translate X. Yeah, it's enough. Okay, what about and it also changes its own color from the primary to white. Okay, let's make it color, and it should be like on the title. Let's just copy this one, the implementation. What? Background color, yeah, exactly. But a little bit faster should be. With timing. Let's add here config duration 200 milliseconds. let's rebuild it. Oh, I think it's better. You know, better and more faster need. Yeah. Now it looks like into the hinge, I think. And I think that we do not need to apply the color switch for that bottom line. I think it's just looks like it's changed the color. So it's white on the Pro. It's like gray on the Pro, and the switch is also gray. Okay, the another one thing is to add icon. Is to add this close icon. It also will switch the colors. Okay, how into the Expo add the colors? Expo or add the Expo icons. Is there some default library? Yes, there's some default library. Why I'm looking for it? Because I did not create the project from scratch on Expo. In general, I use only Native CLI. And that's why I need to look through the documentation. From Fontella, icons image. Okay, button component. Okay, I think that this library should be already pre-installed into the package. Yep. Yes. Okay, so I can just. Could it be animated? Oh no, I think no. Because I need to use Reanimated here. Okay, so let's just somewhere find the icon and animated. Close icon. PNG. Let's take this one. Okay, I like this one. Let's move it to our project. Let's pass it here. Expo vector icons, icon image. It's exactly what I need. So let's paste it a little bit top of our tab. Okay, for now it will be default image component and the image placed here, close PNG. Not so big, maybe 22. Okay, enough. And can I change tint color? White. No. Alright. Okay, I need another one. Give me ability to switch the tint color. If I use that one, okay, the problem was just here. Okay, so we will use animated image that give us ability to switch the tint color, but to switch tint color, since it's not the style, we will use another hook from Native Reanimated, the hook called use animated props. Yeah. Animated props object has to be passed to animated props property of an animated company that you want to animate. Okay. So let's return from here. Animate the props that we want to animate. It will be our tint color, and that tint color should be worked as this was already were here. Let's copy this basic tint color with timing. So when we on a basic subscription, the tint color of the icon should be black. And when we switch, the tint color should be switched to white. Animated props, let's call it icon. Animated props. And pass it here. And let's look. Yeah, it's what we need. Let's animate it. Well, not animate, let's change position, margin left outer, margin right, for example, 24. Okay, I think it looks exactly how into Hinge, how it looks into the Hinge. Yeah. Okay, let's now add some more components into the scroll view, and let's add some this view on the bottom of the view, the static. Okay, let's make it. So okay, when we render, for example, let's just render some blocks. New array. Let's create some mock 15. Fill now. Map it. Element. I think that index we also need for us. Index, and just render some mock view. I want to display some text, so I will need also some text. Okay, what's the problem? Missing key prop. Okay. Height not so big, probably 50. One color. Let's for now add margin top. Margin top 5. Okay, and now let's add background color. For example, if we on a basic, it's better use here basic, so we will set our colors as red, and when we on the pro, let's add color blue. Okay, so now we exactly can see that we switch the pages, and the position of the scroll stays the same. Okay, now we need to add some view on the bottom. Okay, the next things that we need to implement is this bottom view with payment button and some text that's required for the purchasing. Okay, to implement this, we will wrap our scroll view into another view because we need to static content on the bottom. Okay, let's add it. For now, let's just add height here and add some color. Background to be background color black, for example. Okay, and let's red. Okay, and for now let's add some text and buttons. For example, so let's remove both the background and the height. Just we need to add some text. In general, the text is pretty similar. Let's just write it some log data. So it goes. Okay, got the problem. Shit. Okay, so yeah, it's what we need. So here's a copy. And let's render some button, some pressable. Let's add some text also here. Gets 31450. Okay, let's add some style. We have some padding vertical, for example 10. Line item center. Let's add. Do we have here some insets? Scale. Do we have here save area context? Okay, yes, we have. To be honest, I forgot how to call it. Import from context and let's H. Use of area frame, use of area insets. Yeah, probably I need this one. Insets, use of area insets. We have here, yeah, have here a button, and let's add margin let's add button. Okay, and let's add here the background color. Depending on the plan, basic red, non-basic it will be white. Okay, let's switch okay to here. We need to switch to padding button. Yes, it's what we need. Then let's add to the button some margin horizontally. For example, 24. And some border radius, 24, for example. Yes, for now it's look a little bit nicer. Let's add some margin right. Or margin top. For example, 10. Items center, text style, text align. Oh no, we did not need it because it's storage the button. And let's add some maybe margin button, margin top on the text. Okay, so we need to also set that color for the text, correct color. Okay, when it's on the base it should be black, and when it's pro it should be white. Yep. Okay guys, as you see, I think that we created like the basic mockup of the Hinge paywall screen. I think that another things that you will implement, you can implement, so it's not tricky. Also, let's add the change in page when we press on the tabs. Okay, I forgot about it. Okay, here we have tab bar. Here we have our text, so we need to wrap it into the pressable. First one. We need to move some styles. Okay, let's make it for the another one. Pressable. I do not believe you. Okay, these 50 is need to be removed. Okay, and now what we need change the scroll for our horizontal flat list. To do it, we need the reference to this scroll, to this list. Okay, ref, we will use hook, use ref, not animated flat list. Can we use it here? Requires, which type do we need? We need here some any plan. Okay, yeah, okay. So let's add reference here, ref. And we need pass to the tab bar the function that will switch it will scroll on change. Let's call it something like that. On change. Let's. It can change only from one plan to another, so it will took the plan. And here TypeScript help us, I think. Yes, we have plan. We shouldn't impertly switch this variable, because this variable will be switched, will be assigned when the scroll changed. So we need here is to change the position of the scroll. So we need to understand where we want to switch. We want to set to the basic, and we know that the basic is there index 0 for our flat list. So index it's the number of the page which we want to display. So for us, the basic is the first page, so it's index 0, and the Hinge X is our pro subscription. It have index 1. Also index 1. Okay, and we should call it in our pressables. I did not extract it here. And change pressable on press on change, and I set a plan. When we press on the first one, we need change to basic, and we press on another one, we should change to the pro. Yeah, it's correctly working, and Reanimated make it perfectly, so we even when animation not fully finished, I can also press on the another one tab, and the animation stops on some position and move back, and all of that becomes smoothly. Another one thing that I wanted to implement is to, for example, that our components should be displayed initially on the Hinge X subscription. Will it work okay if I just make it here? No, it will not work, because I need pass initial number, not initial number, initial scroll index. And the initial scroll index, it will be const initial scroll index initial scroll index. So into your real application, you will pass plan as the prop to your screen. For now, it just will mock it here. Initial scroll index, and for example, when I replaced, so I have an error. So scroll to index should be used in conjunction with get item layout or on scroll to index field. Otherwise, there is a notification on screen indicates to handle failures. Let's do the documentation like native flat list. Initial scroll index. Instead of starting at the top with the search and start with the initial scroll index, we disable the scroll. not render as it's always render in the immediate, but it requires get item layout to be implemented. There's no words about get item layout, but okay. Get item layout. We just need to implement that function to the flat list currently initially render our second page. So let's just copy it here. So for us, we need to not the item height. I just thinking if we have vertical scroll, a vertical flat list, it probably needs the height, but if we have horizontal flat list, so it should be, I think it's needed the item width. I think that the width will be enough here to render. Yeah. Let's move back. Scroll index. Cancel this render. Yep. Okay, guys. I think that's all that I wanted to display to show you.